live from the Harmon Solar Studios on 1580 The Fanatic. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
Wednesday night, 6 p.m. means only one thing. The main event is coming at you here at 1580 a.m. The Fanatic from the Harmon Solar Studios, also on 99.3 FM. Get on the text line. Join us at 888-368-1580. Tonight, Adam is still on assignment. We have Chief that was willing to put up with me for another hour here tonight. Chief, we just had a long conversation. We're going to talk a little bit about some of that stuff there. But how you doing tonight, man?
Doing good. I guess I live misery coming back with you for another week, huh?
Glutton for fun. And you're going to see me all weekend?
Yeah, all weekend now. Ooh.
It's like, oh, man, it's literally getting the band back together. It's like we're going to become best friends again.
Definitely getting the band back together. But, hey, man, I'm seeing some great things right now. Ohio State eyeing football games with 20 to 50,000 fans. It's not 100,000, but I'll take it.
Right? Can you imagine complaining that only 50,000 college football fans are going to be allowed into that stadium? People are going to complain about it.
Oh, yeah, people are going to complain, no doubt. But still, you think 50,000 people, you're like, that's a hell of a crowd. 50,000 people. I mean, if
ASU, U of A would love a quarter of that, and then ASU would be happy with 50,000, right? Right?
No. So I just saw that. That's my opening starter
I got a
for
quote
you.
for you, because one of the best Rough House movies ever came out, I think it was yesterday, but it's this week in 1989. And the quote is, it's kind of a paraphrase quote. All you have to do is follow 3 simple rules. 1, never underestimate your opponent. Expect the unexpected. 2,
Roadhouse.
Take it outside. Never start anything inside the bar unless it's absolutely necessary.
Roadhouse.
And 3, be nice.
Roadhouse.
Right?
Dalton.
I was with somebody yesterday that said they'd never seen Roadhouse.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, well, she's no longer intern.
Well, there you go. That's how you get fired real quick.
That's how you get fired from a free internship, I guess. Right?
Man, I did not know that. When did it come out? Yesterday?
I think it was yesterday, but it's this week.
I wish I would have known that. I would have played so many sound drops of Roadhouse.
Right. I saw it late in the day, and it said 8 hours earlier, so I'm assuming, but it is this week.
Did you ever go to the Double Deuce Bar up there on the east side?
I did not.
I drove by it a few times. I thought about it. But,
have you ever been to a bar that has chicken wire up to protect the people on stage?
No, but I want to go to one so bad just to see what it's like. And I wouldn't throw a beer bottle at the guy unless somebody else did it.
Well, now they're all plastic.
Yeah. Well, you still get some glass bottles every now and then.
It's even worse when the guy's blind, right?
Right? Guy had no idea that one was coming. Didn't see it.
Yeah, so it's just a great it's a great movie if you're into that. It's totally cheesy, right? But I have seen it recently.
Oh, Roadhouse is great.
And I thought it held up pretty well for the times. The machismo, I can see a lot of people today having a problem with the machismo in that movie. But it's just a fun watch, right?
Oh, it's great. It is definitely Patrick Swayze at his best. I'm not too sure exactly how much Patrick Swayze has. Top echelon movies, but definitely a great movie. Put it right up there. Saw a post about Roadhouse and Over the Top the other day where they were calling it D-list movies. I said, you guys are out of your mind.
Roadhouse.
These are cinema classics.
Those are, they have everything except for the 80s, with the music. What is that? Where they fast forward through time, like they're painting or whatever, and music's playing.
Oh, like the scores, like the Rocky movies and stuff?
The
montage. There's going to be a montage. Every Rocky had a montage.
It has everything but a giant montage in the middle of it, but, it is always sad. And spoiler alert, it's always sad when Sam Elliott dies in any movie, right?
Poor Sam Elliott. But we do have some text on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580. Thunder, the Santa Barbarian, says, I bet you Eric hasn't seen a Roadhouse.
He's gonna hold on. He's not in here. He's dealing with something. But I'm gonna say Eric's gonna say he's been to Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah, he's probably been to Texas Roadhouse. He's probably had a steak or time.
We'll ask him when he gets available here.
Beer Absolutely. Bob also chimes in, says, wasn't it a rumor that there was going to be a remake of Roadhouse with Ronda Rousey as the main character? Was that a thing?
That was a rumor. It was. It never got off the ground, but they were talking about a remake. It was when the Karate Kid was coming back out, and
the YouTube special.
Yeah, the other two. that
They did do a Roadhouse 2, which sucked.
Yeah, don't waste your time on that.
Do not waste your time. Big George wants to know, what do we think about The Last Dance? We will talk about that in the second segment of the show. Going to have a lot of thoughts on The Last Dance. The final episodes 9 and 10 were this past weekend, Stever.
Hang in there, George, till about 6:20-ish. We'll get Adam on the phone. He wants to talk about it also, and then I just have thoughts galore.
Oh, my opinion, I don't think Jordan is the a-hole that a lot of people, he was kind of worried about this, but I do think he is full of it. And yeah, this whole flu game thing has grinded my gears. All right. I'm like a Hardy boy right now trying to figure out what's going on.
You're trying to break all this down, right?
Definitely.
Well, I think, isn't it funny how the people that were wronged by Jordan weren't in the documentary, and even some that were kind of, like Horace Grant was in it but was restricted in it,
Yeah.
And it's fast. But it was the Jordan doc. He had to sign off on it. He had to do it, so it makes sense. And we'll get more into that as we come up there, and all that fun stuff. So, but I have a interesting. So we'll do the quick hits since Adam's not here. We're just going to go ahead and go into the quick hits here because there's some things to quickly talk about, and then, like I said, we'll get into The Last Dance here about 20 after the first commercial break. But I don't know if this is real or if this is fake. I did not fact check this, but I found this interesting with the Olympics being canceled here this summer. One of the 30 fastest 100-meter sprint times ever, only 9 were achieved by an athlete not associated with doping.
And that's running or swimming? Like running?
I'm sorry, running.
Okay,
track and field.
Okay.
Yeah. So the 100-meter sprint. So Ben Johnson, Canadian, accused of doping. Those guys. And I purposely didn't leave a name in there because there's one guy that has all 9 of those on top of it. Fascinating, right? Mm-hmm. Usain Bolt. Never been attributed to doping yet. There's been rumors, but he hasn't been attributed to it at all. And he's got 9 of the 30 fastest. He's gotten the 9 that were achieved by an athlete. Everybody else was got doping.
Really?
Yeah, isn't that fascinating?
Is Michael Johnson on the list? Was he a doper?
He was. Yeah. Remember, he got caught right away after that because Carl Lewis won it after him, right? Was it Carl Lewis?
I think it was Carl Lewis. Yeah, I was
pretty young for that.
I was 9 years old during the '96 Olympics. I just remember the gold shoes and him throwing the gold shoes like into the crowd every time.
Right. And then that gave us
thing ever.
The Carl Lewis national anthem. Classic.
Oh yeah.
But I just found that fascinated that. So basically, to run that fast, you got to be a doper, is what I just learned there. Unless you're Jamaican Usain Bolt. So I don't know. I just found that fascinating today. So, so Jason, another thing is we talked about the Rams, how they're just the uniform deficiencies all season long. All this offseason. They're just I gave them another chance the other day. I was like, maybe I was just in a bad mood that day. No.
Maybe I saw it in the wrong light.
I think they put me in the bad mood. I was like kicking the dog after I saw him again or something because it was just like, oh, these things are awful.
National Dog Rescue Day.
So they get this $500 million additional loan, which pushes their stadium to over $5 billion. Now, granted, a lot of that was because they couldn't start construction. They started at 6 months, 8 months late because of all the rain we had.
Yeah, well, they didn't start it late, but they had to add on because last year a lot of rain out in L.A.
But that isn't the fascinating thing about this story. Forget about $5 billion, double the estimated cost. Let's forget about that. Forget about the fact that they need another $500 million loan. But they're paying the Chargers, who are renting that building from the Rams, are getting charged $1 a year in rent to rent that stadium for 10 games a year.
I bet you the Oakland A's wish they had that kind of deal.
Right? But they're $1.2 million that they missed today, right? Or was it today they missed?
Yesterday, I think they missed it. But, man, that's just insane to me, like, how the workings of all that works. Like, I want to be behind closed doors when that goes into effect. Because, obviously, it shows me that the Rams are LA1 and Chargers, hey, $1 a month, you're LA2. But then you're like, man, they're getting a heck of a deal right there. Like
the Chargers' value went – I'll warn everybody now, the first show – I kept calling them San Diego. I refused to call them the LA Chargers, so everybody get on board with that because I'm going to say San Diego when I say the city, just because I refuse to do it.
You can't get anything in LA for $1,
right?
And these guys are getting 10 games at a nice ass stadium.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that just amazing? But their value doubled when they left San Diego and went to LA. Their value doubled, so they went from to $500 million they're worth, or $600 million, and they're paying $1 a month in rent. How can you not sell that team and make $1 billion?
Oh my gosh, it's insane,
right? But then here's the thing, though.
The overhead,
right? So here's the thing, though. This is how bad the Chargers are in this market. And most of their San Diego season ticket holders were in this area of LA, by the way. Keep that in mind. That's why they wanted to move north, is most of the people traveled down to San Diego to see the games. And the Chargers have fallen roughly $300 million short of their projected $400 million in seat licensing sales. They are $300 million short of selling tickets in this new stadium.
What are the Rams, though?
They're selling them all.
Like the Rams? So the Rams are actually selling tickets.
Yeah. Which, think about it. So the Chargers agreement is $1 in rent. They get to split the suites and everything revenue, and then they come with $400 million in seat revenues, and then they had to get a $200 million loan from the NFL.
And the Charger tickets are so much cheaper too.
Right?
You're looking at like $100 like difference. Like if you want the 50-yard line there for a Rams game, it's $250. Yeah, the new stadium for a Rams game, it's $250. For the Chargers game, same seat, $150.
That's amazing.
Like, if you're an LA guy, like, why would you not be a Chargers fan?
It used to be
Their
that way
jerseys are a lot nicer.
Right.
The Rams jerseys suck. You know, you're stuck with Jared Goff. At least the Chargers. I mean, you got Tyrod Taylor this year, but hey, up and up. They drafted a young quarterback. Who knows what can happen? So
the Chargers aren't. I mean, on paper, the Chargers. I'm sure they lost their running back who went to Denver, but Chargers are. I mean, they were the team that lost the most with under 3 points like all season last year.
Yeah.
Like they're not a bad team.
No.
They could surprise people, right? I mean, they're in a tough division with the Chiefs, but I mean, just these.
I mean, you're not playing for first,
right?
But you can sneak in a wild card. We're adding extra wild card teams.
I don't see. I mean, I don't see why they couldn't.
8-8 could probably get you in.
But like, I'm just fascinated by these deals. Now, granted, it's going to be the the West NFL home, right? So they're building all the NFL networks moving their studio from downtown LA to this stadium.
Oh, really?
They're going to do the draft. Like the NFL is going to have Roger Goodell is going to have an office outside the stadium.
Oh, wow.
So it's the NFL's partner because they want it in that market and New York, right? So there's a lot of that factor in there. But I was just fascinated. I was like, this thing's so overpriced. It's privately funded. Kroenke's funding all of this, right? It's all based on his billions that he has. But I'm just fascinated at the deal they gave the Chargers. And that 10 games of revenue must mean that much to the Rams, the stadium ownership, that they needed that 10x. That's 20 games a year, right?
I want to know how much the high schools are going to have to rent it out for or pay whenever they do high school graduations there.
Doesn't Jerry Jones give high schools like a severe discount and everything, or supplemented or something? Because they play a lot of the Texas high school championships.
Yeah, a lot of like most of the Texas championships are all at Jerry's World. So I don't know exactly how all that works out and whatnot. I mean, it's a big TV market down there for that stuff.
I mean, Kroenke, I can be honest with you, I can see him just overcharging high schools, right? He just seems like that kind of a guy. But that's
it's like, what? The Chargers? They're in the NFL. They're paying $1. Here we are, East Valley High, Bayside High, AC Slayers coming in to play Valley. They can't get a discount here? What the heck?
Yeah, could you imagine you're a high school team and you're going to play a championship there and you have to pay more than the Chargers?
Oh.
And you're probably just as good as them. I mean, to be honest with you.
I just talked the Chargers up. All right, don't bring them down right now. All right.
I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs, but the Chargers are a better team than you think they are.
Yeah.
Like I said, they lost most of their games last year, partly because Phillip Rivers threw the ball to the other team most of the time. But they were the closest by far.
I mean, Tyrod Taylor, probably not the answer. He's never been the answer for any team he's ever been on. But I feel better about where the Chargers are at right now than where the Rams are at right now.
Absolutely.
So if you're in LA and you're looking to bandwagon with the team and you don't want to wear a Best Buy uniform, go buy yourself Charger season tickets and a Charger uni. Get that powder blue. You'll be looking nice.
It used to. I hate those powder blues, man. I know a lot of people like them, but I cannot. But
their whole uniforms this year are crushing it. That all blue, like dark blue,
like before their powder blue. Then this year, I was like, man, these uniforms—they're the best uniforms that came out. Right?
Well, I think when you put up LA Chargers to the LA Rams, you're like, yeah.
But this was. They put it out 3 months before. Were they the first one to put it out, or somebody might have beaten them? But
they put it out not 3 months, but a little bit before.
But it was before we saw the Rams one, right? So, the Lakers and Clippers used to be that way, where the Clippers actually had more Lakers fans going to their games because you could afford tickets in the lower bowl for the Clippers in the same stadium, and you couldn't afford Lakers tickets upper level last row in the stadium for anywhere close to it. So that's the way it used to. It sounds like it's going to be the same way again, but I just don't understand how a franchise can survive so horribly. And just the conditions for this ownership.
What do the Clippers pay the Lakers?
I think it's I don't know.
Or who owns the Lakers on that one?
No,
right?
the LA Sports. county authority or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, but like here, the Cardinals, they rent that stadium for game day, so they pay rent to get that game on
paying
game
$1.
days. I don't know about Staples Center. I don't know. It's something I have to look into. As a business guy, I should probably know that. So as I choke here,
Get up on your business journal.
So NBA came out today and said
Speaking of basketball.
they want to start calling players back June 1st.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like sports are coming back. Yay! Looks like some stuff is finally going to end this whole quarantine. We made it, guys. I mean, we got live auto racing on right now, which is phenomenal. Baseball, they're still working out the kinks. NFL right now, I think they're still going to be a full go. Opened up the show, talk about Ohio State. They want 50,000 people in their arena. NBA right now looks like June 1st, got some players on the court. Right now, we already see some people showing up to these gyms. I believe the L.A. County actually signed off this past weekend.
They allowed
to
that,
open up on Saturday.
But there's a bunch of restrictions.
Right. I mean, it's stupid restrictions.
They can't share basketballs.
But saw the Woj bomb though hit today.
Yep.
Looking at Disney Orlando gonna be hosting NBA.
You know what? For the NBA, I'm okay with that. I like. For some reason with baseball, I'm like, no, you have to play in home stadiums. It's not fair to play elsewhere. For some reason with the NBA, I'm like, I don't care if they all play in one place.
Because NBA, a court's a court. For baseball, you have like different dimensions at your home stadium.
Oh,
yeah,
you're right.
But if you're not having fans and stuff like that, who cares? A court's still a court. And, you're not going to like paint it up,
that's a good
gold
point.
and purple for the Lakers for every game. Like it's going to be like some black color and probably have
be sponsorships
probably have Jerry
everywhere.
West logo. Yeah, McDonald's sponsor, Sprite, whatever. But in baseball, you have like different field emissions and all that stuff, different ground rules for different ballparks, all that sort of stuff. So it's one of those things where I much rather see my home team play at their home ballpark in baseball. In basketball, I'm totally okay with you playing at one central location. If there's not going to be fans, that's fine. They'll pipe in some music, whatever, doom, defense. And then
the greatest sound ever. We're going to talk about this when we get to NASCAR.
Sneakers on the floor.
Is not just sneakers on the floor, but no music being played during the game. I was at a game like a year or two ago where literally the power went out, so there's no music. There was no that when the basket goes to the hoop and you hear the swoosh through the through the
swoosh sound is so great.
But it's not when it's awkward, right? It's good when it's a perfect swoosh, but then it's got that awkward noise.
That's around the board.
It was just so great. You could hear the players talking to each other, the sneakers. It was like the defense and all that. I hate t-shirt talk. I hate that stuff.
I don't need it sounding like the YMCA. All right, like just get in there, play, give me some tune skis.
Hey, really quick, Adam, you got 2 seconds. I mean, sorry, what's your name?
Eric.
You got 2 seconds, buddy.
Have you
seen Roadhouse?
No, I have no idea what that is.
Oh my gosh!
Have you been to Texas Roadhouse?
I haven't. I'm looking. They just opened one in Scottsdale, and I'm looking forward to going again.
Right down here by White House, right by Wright Castle. I cannot talk today. Sorry, I named you like 12 names. Like
all right, well, looks like Thundar, the Santa Barbarian, you just won yourself a steak dinner on behalf of Eric Cohen. Awesome, cool. Going to Texas Roadhouse. Hey, you should have been here for it. Coming up next on the main event, we will get into The Last Dance. We saw the final 2 episodes, but is there more? That's next on the main event here on 1580 The Fanatic.
No one covers sports like the main event.
And we're back. The main event, Wednesday night, 6 p.m., 1580 The Fanatic, also 99.3 FM. Text line, 888-368-1580. Chief, let's clear this bad boy out.
Yes, let's clear this bad boy out. Malibu, no, you are not. Beer Bob says, good, when Nab's on the phone, we can talk a little WWE wrestling too. Not a whole lot happening in the wrestling world, so maybe not. Big George says, yes, Steve, they will always be known as the San Diego Chargers. To me, my fiance lives in San Diego, and she was a huge Chargers fan. Not anymore. They are deader. Oh, that's sad. Papa Mike says, remember Breeze didn't do much for the Chargers, but exploded for the Saints. Taylor just might surprise you. No, Papa Mike, he's not going to surprise.
First of all, Breeze was not that bad of a quarterback in San Diego. They just lied. He had that bum shoulder, and they just liked Philip. And you can't blame him for going with Philip Rivers. He was a good quarterback.
Yeah.
So I know it's a lot of things on that, but I'm also a Phillip Rivers guy. I know some people around these parts aren't. So
I love the boilo tie all day, every day.
Exactly, Big George. I mean, it's I wouldn't wear their gear or anything. I don't like that lightning thing per se, but I just enjoy it.
It's a lightning bolt.
Whatever. I think I hate him because Chris Berman's all San Diego Superchargers. There you go, everybody. You're welcome. All right, so let's get into The Last Dance. Guys, text in on what you thought about The Last Dance. I'm getting the weirdest looks from Eric over there. So, Adam, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, guys. How's it going? Thanks for the little singing song there. You got a little jingle going on.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to record that and put it out for people's ringtones.
Oh, please don't.
you guys
Don't
are
waste your
both.
time.
Yeah, you two both know me long enough that I'm willing to do that. So, right.
True.
So we talked a little bit about it earlier. We had a little crossover with the blender earlier, but Adam, it's finally here. Episode 9 and 10. While you're on the phone with us here on assignment, I told everybody you're coming back with a notebook with the notes on what you're doing and your assignment.
Multi-notebooks.
Yes. So tell us what you thought about 9 and 10. Sum it up for us. What you thought.
It was kind of, I guess it became like, it was all entertaining, of course, and everything. I guess it was just like a letdown because it was over. And then I went on, I was surprised that it wasn't more behind the scene management stuff going on there than they showed out. And then at the very ending, when I thought they when they said the Bulls went into a rebuild, I thought it should have been they're still in a rebuild at this point.
Yeah, I said that to Sam. We're watching down. It's like the Bulls went to rebuild in 1998. I was like, yeah, it's been 22 years later, but did make an Eastern Conference Finals one year
with Derrick Rose, right?
Yeah.
Before Derrick Rose blew out his knee or whatever, right?
But they ran into the Big Three in Miami the first year, so.
Yeah. So what? So you expected more on the management side. I wasn't more surprised on that. But I am surprised that reading more stuff and what you were saying before that Reinsdorf kind of just got away with everything.
Yeah, it was a free pass, and I don't know if it's because Michael had the editing rights and everything else. I don't know if Michael always never really has said anything bad about Jerry Reinsdorf. He's taken Jerry Krause to the shed all the time, but Reinsdorf's kind of been like off limits. He hasn't really gone after him.
Well, he always took care of him.
Yeah, the guy was paying him $3 million to play minor league baseball.
And $25 million is last year. That's kind of the deal. I mean, Randy in the blender before we were talking about it was saying that he thought Reinsdorf didn't. I mean, it was Eric. Somebody was saying that they thought Reinsdorf just didn't want to spend the money, and I was like, no, he paid people. He just didn't want to go over everything, So even in the baseball,
right,
he paid Albert Bell that huge salary
because that's when they put in the luxury cap and everything else, and he just didn't want to pay that. I mean, and from a business standpoint, you can't say that it's a bad thing, but I think they should have went ahead and offered the 1-year contracts, like Jordan was saying at the end, because I think they had the right to go for 7 if it was at all possible. The fact that I learned that I did not know that Jerry picked up the phone and called Phil to ask him to come back.
Do you believe the 1-year contract stuff? Because watching this stuff for the last 23 years, I thought the flu game was a flu game. Now all of a sudden it turns into a food poisoning game, and now this Craig Fight guy from Pizza Hut down there in Park City, Utah, is saying, there wasn't even 5 guys that delivered the pizza. I delivered the pizza, and it didn't happen the night before the game. It happened 2 nights before the game. If you go back and look at the dates, I believe Jordan was on a massive bender. I don't even think this 1-year contract happened. I think your boy Jordan's a liar.
No, Jordan signed the last 3 years were 1-year deals, right?
Right.
For Jordan. And, I think that the fact is that they weren't offered. Like, he's not saying, like, he even said that it would probably take some convincing. Scottie Pippen was not signing a 1-year deal. There was no way in hell.
I don't know. Michael Jordan.
Steve Kerr get when he went on the open market? When he got $1.75 million?
If Michael Jordan asked Scottie Pippen to come back, I wouldn't be surprised. And then there would have been a payday involved.
Yeah,
not as much as he would have gotten when would he go with Rockets or something? Or
he went to the Rockets, got a pretty good hookup.
Yeah, so on that. But I don't know,
and that was the Bulls did the signing trade. The Bulls signed him to the max deal. That he got more money because of that.
Yeah, like Jerry Krause did
good.
good.
Got in on the free market.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when I look at this and I'm looking at all the guys, I mean, obviously Horace Grant, he comes in, this week. He's not happy. Scottie Pippen says he's not happy. Seems the only people that are happy with this is Michael Jordan, who obviously doesn't have social media. He's not talking to anybody, but he put the documentary together. And then it's all the white guys.
And then
what's up with all these role players being happy?
I know. Steve Kerr's excited, man. He got FaceTime galore, right?
Yeah, Steve's got to be had. But Horace Grant, he was a little bitter when he got traded to begin with.
Right.
So that goes against. Everyone has a vendetta on the whole deal. Everyone walks away a little bitter that when they weren't part of all 6 championships, and that you haven't heard anything from Rodman's camp for the most part.
That's because Rodman's
in North Korea, dude.
He had a lot of camera time.
Rodman has no clue where he is right now, let alone there's a documentary.
Rodman's checking on his boy Kim Jong. Was it Un?
I don't know, whichever one.
The North Korean dude.
Yeah.
So, I was a little disappointed in 9, Adam. I'll be honest with you, and strictly because now everybody, I'm going to preface this. I am not a Steve Kerr fan. I do not like hypocrites. I do not like people like him that say one thing and then do another behind the scene, and it's obvious about it, and then they act like nothing happened. I can't stand that about people. So I'm just not a fan of him. He went to U of A. Adds another check mark to the box of why I don't like him. But I tuned out of episode 9 when they just went on this 30-minute, had nothing to do with this. If he
I tuned out during that part too, and it wasn't anything to do with Steve Kerr. Like I don't mind Steve Kerr.
Fit.
I was just like, what's going on here?
It didn't fit, right?
Right.
And
I didn't need a 30 on 30 on Steve Kerr's dad.
Yeah.
And
if he would have said
that was kind of, I felt bad for it happening, but
it was
I
buzzkill.
didn't need the whole backstory of Steve Kerr's life.
Well, if he would have said, me and Michael were able to sit down and talk about our dads and what we went through when they died, blah, 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 it would have been relevant. But at the very beginning of the story, he says, oh, yeah, me and Michael never had a chance to talk about our dads. It's like, then why are we having a 30-minute thing on Steve Kerr? And then my favorite part of that is when you think, that's what I wanted to ask you, Adam, in Chicago, because I have my opinion, in Chicago, when you think of John Paxson and you think of Steve Kerr, right? Both same roles, both same everything, both different championship runs. Who's more celebrated in that group of the two?
Well, I would think it's kind of hard to say because Paxson's legend is so tarnished because of what he did in his management roles and not being able to get anything accomplished really, that in just a stepping stone for mediocrity. I think that takes it away from him. But to me, they're just two, they were interchangeable. They're the same person. Just, they're the same player, same person. I don't think one of them, Paxson's made a career out of it here in Chicago and still get into check. So
right.
I guess it would have to be Paxson. But Steve Kerr went on to do good things too.
You say that because Steve Kerr wasn't your GM, all right? We had that pain here, okay? So yeah,
he walked out on the Suns after taking them.
Yeah,
but my opinion,
set him up for failure.
I had John Paxson for years. Okay, that's punishment enough.
Well, the one thing good though Kerr gets is the awesome post celebratory speech where he went on Jordan said had to bail him out again. Yeah. That was perfect. 45 seconds. That's all you need is Steve Kerr that episode. I didn't need 45 minutes, Steve Kerr. Just need the 45 seconds. Just give me the 45 seconds and I'll move on with my life.
My take on this is that John Paxson was the better role player and the better basketball player. Steve Kerr just got lucky with one shot, right? Paxson actually was in that. It was in that system, and he was in that team. I just feel like Steve Kerr was just like the guy that would just, hey, somebody needs a break. Somebody broke an ankle. Why don't you shuttle out there for a couple minutes while we tape his ankle up and get him back out there, Steve Kerr? And then he hits the one shot, and then even then it was like, all right, you hit a great shot. Good job. Move along now. Whereas Paxson was, he made a career of it.
The speech is what puts him where it's so memorable.
So
Paxson
Adam
doesn't have that personality.
Well, no, but yeah, it's just amazing to see the difference. But hey, Adam, we got to go to break here in a minute. So give us your parting thoughts on The Last Dance.
And are you watching Game 6, the movie?
Did any of you guys watch the ABC special last night?
No, with Stephen A. Smith. No, Lord, no.
Oh my God, it was brutal. It was so bad, I turned it off.
I watched some of that Jacoby.
A breakdown of Michael Jordan's influences, I was done.
Yeah, no thanks.
But yeah, that's all I got on that, guys. I'm just glad it was really entertaining 5 weeks of television. Sad that it's over and waiting to see what comes up next. Really,
it was perfect timing because now sports is coming back on right as it's ending, so it's perfect timing wise, right? So
Definitely.
Adam, appreciate you
get
calling
ready for
in.
Lance.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
All right, guys. Take it easy. Have a great show.
All right, man. Perfect. We'll talk to you later. All right.
Yeah.
So I have some beef here with episode 9. First off, Reggie Miller, so underrated as a player. Can we agree on that?
So
Like Reggie Miller, he is such a scrawny kid, but man, he was so good.
I can't stand Reggie Miller. And my whole life growing up, let me tell the story. My whole life growing up, I was not a Reggie Miller. I just thought he was like the lucky kid, right? That could just hit a three, and that's all. And then he just caused trouble. He was like John Starks for
what
the
did he score?
Knicks.
Like 8 points in 2 seconds?
Yeah. But as I've gotten older, I've appreciated Reggie Miller's play style and everything. And that's kind of what I want to touch on here is the way they broke down that 98's Eastern Conference final was just phenomenal, right? Because I do remember that series very well. I was, junior at ASU, and I remember that very well. And I remember what a hard-fought series that was. That was one of the reasons I thought the Jazz were going to win the championship, was just the Bulls had no energy left. And that team was phenomenal. I mean, you look at that Pacers team, and it's phenomenal players on there, right? And, and those guys got a lot of due in this series, the way they broke it down. I thought it was just fanatic. I mean, when Reggie Miller talks about, I just kind of turned my shoulder a little bit, and he ran by me and just a little bit nudged him a little, he's playing that stuff off as they were going.
The Black Jesus comment was great. Yeah, I love that. Like, hey, you don't talk trash to Black Jesus. And he's like, ever since then, he was either His Airness or Black Jesus. Like, oh my gosh, I'm going to start calling MJ Black Jesus. If I see him in the road, I'm like, yo, Black Jesus, what's up?
I'm not going to lie to you, man. I was watching it today earlier today, and I was biting my nails. I knew how the series ended.
Right.
I know what happened. I know, Jordan misses the shot. I know Reggie hits the shot. I know all of that stuff, and I was biting my nails just because of the way they cut it and broke it down.
Oh, yeah, there was a time like during this series where I was like, oh, man, Suns are about to win the championship here. Here we go. This is about to happen, guys.
So I've always been a person that said the Suns had the best team that didn't beat the Bulls in that 93 season. I might have to change that now. I'm going to have to go back and watch that series.
Well, I think if you look at finals, yes.
Well, finals, yeah.
But overall, I think that Pacers team, they were standing toe-to-toe.
I don't think there's any doubt that they had a harder time getting out of the East than they did facing the West champions, right?
Right.
Overall. So what is the best – the interesting thing about this, right, is the first three were, early 90s.
Right.
Second three were like later 90s, and the gap in the middle. Which of the two do you respect more?
I think I respect – the last two against Karl Malone and John Stockton, that was the first time they played the same team twice. Mm-hmm. And, everybody thought going in 98, like, this is the Jazz's year. Like, that Jazz –
they were the best.
Those fans were phenomenal. That crowd was into it. Like, the Jazz were just whatever. I can't believe I heard people say Utah was a hostile environment, but those Jazz fans were rowdy. They do lose a little bit of credit, though, with the Supersonics. I did not think that team was very good. They're on paper and in the West that year, they were the best team in the West, but
I agree.
I don't know. Like Sean Kemp and the glove do nothing for me. Even, you see Jordan laughing at Gary Payton, and who's now a Big Three coach, by the way, and rest in peace, Big Three 2020.
Not this year.
We'll see you back next year. But I think the last two get it for me. Just because they knew that last one, that it was the last dance. So I respect that a little bit more.
So I'm sorry, I
respect the last three, but only because what the last two were.
I think the last three Jordan had less talent on the team, and it was harder to win.
Right.
Because he was older.
Oh, yeah, he lost Horace Grant.
But
he
even
still had
Scottie
Pippen.
But Pippen was hurt in those last time. They focused on that. I remember that distinctly, where he could barely walk, right? The flu game or food poisoning game, whatever you want to call that.
Can we talk on that?
It was a lot. Yeah, get your rant on. Let's go. Let's talk about
look,
this.
What is up with this whole thing? For 23 years, I'm thinking this whole thing's a flu game. And then he comes out, it's a food poisoning game, right?
Who said it was a flu game, though? Marv Albert and all the press?
Bob Costas? I don't know. Everybody called it a flu. It was known as the flu game.
I know.
How
That's
come
my
he never
point.
said, hey, I had food poisoning? He wants to come out now, 23 years later. Oh, by the way, I ordered a pizza. So,
but why would you lie about that? What's the difference between a flu game and a food poisoning?
Well,
so wouldn't that tell you it's a food poisoning?
Well,
now the 5 people showing up stuff is bull
the
crap,
game in
right?
question. So Tuesday morning, 2 a.m., he's like over on his stomach, like I'm dying, right? The game is on a Wednesday. They order this pizza on a Monday. At 10:30, this guy, on the picture, he's like, we were looking, thumbing through the phone book, couldn't find a place that was open. Finally found one. It was Pizza Hut for all places. It was like the #1 pizza place in the world. And what does Jordan get? A thin crust pepperoni? That was peak stuffed crust era time, all right? Like, you're not getting the thin crust Pizza Hut, man. You're getting the stuffed crust.
As somebody that can't stand pizza, the only thing I will eat there, unless you force me, is the thin crust pepperoni.
No, it's all about stuffed crust. No. All right. So then, you could probably know, like, hey, orders come in, it's to this hotel. You could probably guess, the Bulls are staying there because it's not hard to know. I mean, you saw after episode 10, when they come running back through, all those fans were out there at the hotel.
I worked in the hotel industry when I was going to ASU here and everything, and you knew where the football team stayed when they came to town. Like, you just knew that, right?
But this guy comes out, and I think this Craig Fight guy's full of it. I don't think he's even the manager at the Pizza Hut. I think he's getting his 15 minutes of fame. He says, I took the order. I made the pizza with love. You don't make a pizza with love. It all goes on the conveyor belt. You just make it how you make it.
Let's continue this after the break, Jason, because I also have thoughts on this pizza gate, I guess we'll call it.
Yeah.
With this, because it's in Jordan's perspective. So when we come back, we will discuss more of this flu game / food poisoning game. Obviously, Chief has some serious passion about it. So come on back here, 1580 The Fanatic.
Call your sons, call your daughters, call your friends, call your neighbors.
Old school beats new school.
The main event.
And we're back. Wednesday night, final segment, the main event here at 1580 AM, 99.3 FM. And my voice is cracking like Bobby Brady. That's awesome.
Bobby Brady?
The Brady Bunch?
Yeah, I know who Bobby Brady is. Thank you very much.
I'll just help you out there.
Of a man named Brady who had 3 ornery little boys.
Is that how it goes now?
Something like that.
Right.
But no, we were talking a little bit of The Last Dance and still a little bit more on the flu game here, food poisoning game. So this Craig Fight guy, he comes out, he's talking. This guy really moved up the ladder from
the
being
pizza guy.
Yeah, the pizza guy. He really moved up the ladder from being GM of Pizza Hut. He's now a GM of Dick's Sporting Goods.
Is he really?
He's GM of Dick's Sporting Goods. I read the story. The guy's GM of Dick's Sporting Goods saying, hey,
there's nothing wrong with that.
He's saying, I made the pizza with love. I'm a big Bulls fan, named my son NJ. Became a big fan of Jordan after I saw what he did against Duke back in '83. Big UNC guy. Go Mike all day. I delivered the pizza. And then you got these guys in the documentary saying there's 5 guys. He's saying, no, there was 2. I mean, it was a Monday night pizza delivery in June, 10:30 at night. I mean, I just don't, the story does not add up to me, man. I don't think it happened. I think Michael Jordan went out on hanging out with Dennis Rodman, who, the story goes, Dennis Rodman, he used to, frequent the bars there and had a couple parties.
I'll have news for you. Today it's loosened up a little bit in Salt Lake City, but back then, I've been to Salt Lake City numerous times in my life, spent a lot of time there. There was no going out late and partying in Salt Lake City
I
at
think
10:30, 11 o'clock at
owned
night.
some places back then. I think Rodman going there like, look, this is my place. We're going to run this bar tonight.
We're going to give you this much money.
What's that Rihanna song? We're going to run this town tonight. That's what Rodman went in there and said.
Here's my problem with the pizza take, right? Is first of all, somebody orders a pizza. It wasn't Michael Jordan. You didn't know about George and all the other the other guys. I call them hanger-ons, but they were actually functioning. They weren't entourage. They were
the people that worked with the Bulls. Yeah,
and so Michael Jordan's not calling up, and this was before the internet, right? Was big. So Michael Jordan wasn't calling up and being like, "Hey, room 304. Can I get a large? Here's my credit card number."
Right.
That ain't happening. So they have no clue who ordered, right? So even if you think the Bulls are staying there, you don't know who you're making this pizza for, right? So you're like, let's make somebody sick. Let's throw some Visine on there, make them sick, and
then
hopefully we get a bowl.
There's one player that goes, what room's that going to? Oh, it's going to 2323. That's probably Jordan's number of his room. Cocky little guy. And he's like, that's Mike's room. Don't touch that.
Yeah. But then I know something about this, at least 20 years ago, I know something about this. Like, you don't just walk up to the floor that the team's staying on. Like, you can't get access.
Right.
I worked in a hotel where the Cowboys, I remember Deion Sanders, Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, probably Dale Hellestrate was on that team. I don't know because I didn't pay attention to linemen back then. They all
shots fired at Helly.
They all showed up. They all checked in. It was a Super Bowl year, so he was on the team. And they all checked into the Buttes Hotel over here, the 143 and I-10, right? And once they walked in that door, I couldn't even get access to the 3rd floor where the players were. I could only get access to the meeting rooms if nobody was meeting there. And I worked there. I had access. I had keys to get into everybody's rooms, right? I could have done anything I wanted to do, and you can't do it. And that was for the Cowboy. And I'm sure it's the same for the Bull. So
Dude,
the pizza guy isn't just walking up to the hotel door, knocking on it, and handing the door
Hey, can I say hi
off.
to Mike? Yeah, no, this Trek Fight guy, he's got his 10 minutes of fame, was on, Sports Zone 1280 in Utah, Salt Lake City, Sports Radio.
But even his story, you're right, but even the story in the thing, like you said, Five Guy, nobody in NBA, because not only are the Bulls security there at the finals, NBA security is running that too. It's not just the Bulls security at that point. There's federal agencies involved in everything that protect these guys, and you're not just walking up to deliver a pizza. Five guys are showing up and being like, "Hey, here's your pizza." It's just not going to happen.
Let's wait till he takes a bite. Yeah, no. Because if you knew it's food poisoning, you'd call that place like, "Yo, these guys, let's interrogate them."
But I've heard a lot of people say that they don't believe that he's the only one that ate the pizza. First of all,
exactly.
I'll devour a whole pizza by myself if I'm hungry enough, right?
Me too.
I consider a large pizza a personal pizza sometimes.
Yeah, Little Caesars, hot and ready, Little Caesars all day. Like I'll do it.
And then second of all, if I worked for Jordan like a trainer or something, and he ordered that pizza that late, I wouldn't touch it even if I was hungry because, it's his regiment. You don't want to get in his way, right? It's the night before a finals game or the finals are going on. You don't want to be involved in that. So I can understand he's the only one.
Where the hell was Gus?
I've also eaten. I don't think he went to Utah. He said he was going to take him, but I don't think he went.
Gosh.
But then I've actually eaten a pizza with somebody before, and she got huge food poisoning to the point where she was throwing up for a couple days. I had to go get a shot, and I felt perfectly fine. Nothing affected me more. So that's kind of why I'm like, I could totally see. Even if everybody else did eat it, I could totally see it because that's happened to me before. We were in Catalina Island. She's puking over the side of the boat and everything.
Jeez.
Throwing up, and I'm just like, "What's wrong with you?"
I mean, it's a weird story. Also, in the story, the district manager called, said, "Hey, make sure the Bulls don't get the bad batch of pepperonis or something like that." I don't know. The story just doesn't add up. I don't think food poisoning happened. The most G thing I saw though in the last couple episodes was not only Reggie Miller's Black Jesus comment, but Michael Jordan. Full up basketball shorts, jersey, T-shirt over it, champions. Let's go to the hotel, smoke cigars. Yo, is this a smoking floor? It is now. Let's play the piano, drink some beers, party like it's 1998.
Right? You're like, what? Right? Yeah, but that was so funny. And I know there's some nice Marriotts out there, whatever. And I think I know what hotel they stayed at because most Marriotts you don't have a piano.
It was like Park City
suites.
Marriott, something like that.
So there's well, they wouldn't have stayed in Park City. That's too far out of town.
I don't know. That's what they said.
There's a big, huge.
Because this was a Park City pizza
really?
that delivered. Yeah,
really?
It was a Park City Marriott.
They stayed 45 minutes outside of Salt Lake, huh? But the one thing that I have to profess my love for on this one is that lady that sat behind the Bulls bench in Indiana for that 98 Eastern Conference.
The original Karen?
I am so in love with her. I have a feeling I'd want to just knock her out, right, if she was sitting next to me. But just watching that, I was like, I love you.
Who talked better trash, the original Karen or the kid talking to Barkley in Phoenix? Don't take it personal, Charles.
Oh, no, the original Karen, because she was dropping F-bombs about how – my favorite is who was that? Was that Joe Klein or somebody who was on the bench and she's yelling and he just gives her this look of disgust over his shoulder?
Yeah, it's like, how does a lady like that get floor seats, right? What's she doing on the floor in 1998 hanging out?
Just nowadays you do that and they just kick you out right away, because players are different and everything. But I was just sitting there just in amazement, like, God, I wouldn't be able to put up with you longer than 5 minutes, but you just amaze me right now. Then could you imagine you're sitting at home watching this documentary, right? And you're just sitting there and your grandkids are running around, because she's old enough now to probably have grandkids running. So she's got 4 or 5 grandkids running around. I was like, hey, that's your grandma.
That's you.
She's just F-bombing the Bulls left and right there. So it's like,
it was great stuff. I'm glad they had it. Filled the void. They got a movie coming out, Game 6. I might watch a little bit of it. They said they're going to have some different camera angles, some hidden stuff on that. I might watch some of that, just kind of see what it is. And I'll probably, check out the first quarter, turn it off midway through. Who knows? Depending on how long it is.
I'm not going to lie to you. I don't watch documentaries very often because I'm not interested. Unless it's behind the scenes. Like if this would be a normal documentary and it was about the management of the team, I would have been totally into that, right? And most people don't because this was the highest rated ESPN documentary by a lot. They averaged 5.6 million viewers, same day viewers. That doesn't even include people like me that watched it later. Across the 10 episodes and everything. And the closest one to it was the You Don't Know Bo episode. 3.6 million people real time watched that. huge ratings boost for ESPN on this documentary. They're not going to get it with this next Lance Armstrong one. They're not going to get it with any of those guys because you just don't have the passion like you do about
I'm
bowl
interested
thing.
in some of the Lance stuff. I'll probably watch it next week. Not going to try to watch it live. It's not going to be appointment viewing like this, but I'm interested in some of the Lance stuff. Speaking of appointment viewing and ratings, man, NASCAR crushed it this weekend. Actually beat The Last Dance. I was shocked by that. 6.3 they're pulling on Sunday. The first race back at Darlington. Got the second race on right now out here in studio. Looks like our boy Eric Jones. Leading the way right now with Chase Elliott and Kevin Harvick, Sunday's winner. Coming up in
the
third
same
here,
car.
Man. So, yeah, same car, same thing. So, some good stuff going on there. Good to have sports back. They're doing like 8,000 races in 8 days, so that's awesome to see.
Well, yeah,
rain delays and everything.
Except
they're just going full bore.
So it looks like they're going to get this one in, which is good because otherwise they would have ran Xfinity. I mean, Xfinity is tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., and then they would have ran this in the evening, and that would have been
Is that 9 a.m. Darlington time?
No, our time.
Am I getting
noon.
a 6 a.m.?
Noon Darlington
I
time.
want a 6 a.m. race.
So, yeah, you'll be
up.
You'll be on the morning
Jacobson
show.
Hilly, here we go, 6 a.m. You guys do your thing. I'm watching NASCAR.
I know it was talked about on the blender beforehand when I was walking in, but and you had something to do with it. I love the idea of a Wednesday night race. Why? Because during the summer, what else is on? Baseball.
Yeah, totally.
Nothing else is on. And if it's a race, but if it's a good race, right? So like the Coca-Cola 600 on a Wednesday night would be spectacular.
I think you got to keep that Memorial Day type thing.
But I'm just saying, a race that big,
an
Indianapolis race that late at night, a Miami race that night. One of those things, races that people look forward to. Well, it's appointment viewing. Yeah, it starts at 3. The people that want to watch will do it 3. You can watch the replay out. It's no different than basketball,
Like
right?
if you get like a touristy spot, like a Vegas midweek race, that wouldn't be bad because a lot of people go to Vegas. I mean, you roll to Vegas midweek.
Yeah. Of course, we roll on the weekends. Why not midweek?
I'm interested in what the number is going to be. Obviously, the race is on FS1 here tonight.
That's
but
the thing that hurts it.
Yeah, the barometers, though, you're going to need to see how it is going to a midweek race with a crowd. See how it is with a live crowd there on a Wednesday night.
I think they're proving they don't
There's
need,
a lot of crazy stuff.
I think what they're proving is they don't need a crowd, though.
Yeah, but if you are the president of Darlington, you want a crowd, right?
Yeah. Well, there's ways to, throw some money that way or whatever. But
it looks a lot better for TV.
I mean, I saw Bob Packrass, our buddy Bob, NASCAR rider and everything on Twitter, say that he's not a fan of these one-day races. He wants qualifying.
I don't need qualifying. I don't need practice. Just give me a race.
How many times have we been to qualifying and practice, and it's like, great.
Yeah. I mean, we go just to go, but come on, just give me.
And you get the winner, and then we talk to the drivers, and we say, my car was doing this. And
don't tell me about the labor. Just show me the baby. All right, come on. That's all I care about.
And you can do that for the weeknighters. Just make it a special event because there's nothing else on a Wednesday night, and it's appointment viewing. People are going to be on vacation in the summer. I think it'd be brilliant. And then the other side of it is then it takes away them competing against the NFL on Sundays and college football on Saturdays.
And that's the main thing that they want to kind of look forward to is trying to competing against the NFL. So it'll be interesting to see going forward. Beer Bob, yes, man. R.I.P. Shad Gasper, former WWE wrestler, taken at sea, at the beach. His last thing that he said was, "Save my son." Terrible thing. Got swallowed up by a riptide out there in California.
Took him out.
Found the body today. Former tag team member of Crime Time, I believe, was the tag team there in WWE. So R.I.P. to him. So, speaking of no fans and sports coming back, baseball, what's going on? Do we know anything yet?
Oh, no. Other than players are babies. I went on this huge rant on my Saturday show, and I know a bunch of you saw it because I saw a bunch of comments on it. The reason baseball is going to be the one sport that's not going to come back in a timely fashion because of the players. Because the players want their money. The union is too strong. Did you see that? I don't remember who tweeted it out yesterday, but it simply said the owners want to talk to the players union, and the players unions won't talk to the owners unless they give them their books so they can look into their books. This is the BS that happens in baseball every time. The union's too strong. The owners have to fight the unions on basic things. Just go out there. I understand. So my stance on it is, if you don't want to play, sit at home. Don't collect your paycheck. You don't get your service time. Sit at home. Nobody will fault you if it's worried about safety. Sit at home. Don't collect your money. And we'll all move on with our day. And we can play AA baseball for the rest of the year.
But don't lie to me and tell me it's about safety when we know it's about the money. Blake Snell, he's like, if I get the Rona, he doesn't care if he gets the Rona. The odds of him recovering from the Rona are 100%. Blake Snell would recover it from the coronavirus if he got it. All right?
Blake Snell.
He only cares about the money. He wants to get his.
Yeah, and like I said on the Saturday show, he's got an issue with his agent, not baseball, because he's the only Cy Young guy in the last who that's still playing that isn't in the $20 million range a year. He's at 7. Talk to your agent on how crappy your contract is, buddy, because you have 5 more years of under $10 million paydays coming.
Yeah, it sucks, Scottie Pippen.
Don't take it out on Major League Baseball. And it drives me nuts. I'm to the point where I hope baseball doesn't start back up just because it'll shut the union up, it'll shut the players up, and we'll finally move on.
Look, if this was 2019, I'm all for the players. Hey, get yours, do what you got to do. But in the times that we have right now, I'm not going to say the phrase, but with everything that's going on and 36.5 million people fighting for unemployment, now's not the time to be bitching and moaning about your money. And I do not want, like hearing Mike Trout. Yeah, Mike Trout has a pregnant wife. I don't like hearing him say, it's all about her safety. Dude, here's the thing. My girlfriend, she is pregnant, but she's on the front lines right now working at a freaking hospital clinic where they do COVID testing. All right? So don't tell me that stuff.
I'm okay with that, though. If they feel that way, then sit out. You're not going to get paid, and you're not going to play.
I think he's really genuine with his health stuff.
And nobody would fault him, right? You wouldn't say Mike Trout's a baby because he wouldn't do it, right? No, sit at home, but don't sit at home and expect to get paid to sit at home. Because like you said, what drives me nuts is all these people are Roger Goodell's not getting a paycheck right now. If there's anybody in the world that deserves a paycheck right now, his $40 million, it's Roger Goodell, right?
Oh, yeah.
He gave that up to support and keep people getting paid in the league, right, for one reason. A lot of people are taking pay cuts. Radio station people are taking pay cuts. All this stuff, people are taking pay cuts. And the one people that are out there saying, we get paid what we signed for or we don't play, even the owners are going to take huge pay cuts because just to turn the lights on are hundreds of thousands of dollars for a game, right? And the AC, Arizona AC, Miami, the AC, they have all those added expenses. They're not getting the parking, the concessions, all that stuff. And there's only one sport. NBA players, LeBron James and Steph Curry have to pay the NBA teams back next year because they've already been paid.
I mean, I could understand.
Have you seen LeBron complain about that?
No, not one bit.
Have you seen Steph Curry complain about it?
LeBron still wants fans.
Right?
He's like, let's go. I want fans, guys.
Baseball players drive me nuts.
The one guy I could understand maybe making a little bit of a beef would be Blake Snell. I didn't like the way he went about it, but hey, he is not making a lot of money. Well, then you got Bryce Harper, the highest paid player in baseball, saying, yo, man, what's up? Pay me too. That's uncalled for. But if they do play this year, it looks like Prince Fielder hasn't played in 4 years. Will be the highest paid player, $24.5 million after all the insurance works out.
That's
so
awesome.
There's your caveat on that.
Right. So thanks for listening to the main event tonight. Definitely tune us in next Wednesday, 6 p.m., of course. I'll be back on Saturday morning on the podcast, on Facebook Live, on Periscope, as well as on Podbean. GesaltProduction.com allows us to do this. Chief, thanks for filling in tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks for doing what you do in there. And we'll see y'all next week, 6 p.m. and Saturday morning at 10.